Hi, this is Janak Reddy Dubbaka. Now we are going to discuss about Huygens theory and interference of light. See, before we are moving into Huygens theory, first we have to know about wavefront. See, what is wavefront? Here, the concept of wavefront is a geometrical idea used to visualize the propagation of waves. Means, if you know the wavefront, using this wavefront, this will give the geometrical idea used to visualize the propagation of waves. Means by knowing the wavefront, how the wave is propagating. For example, at a time t is equal to 0, if one wavefront is given or one wave is given, after time t, we can locate the wave and also we can imagine the shape of the wave using this wavefront. But what actually the wavefront means? It is a locus of all those points of the medium that are in phase. Means if you draw the locus of the points, all that points are in phase. See here is a point source. This source emits the waves and that waves are traveling with a velocity c. After time t, it travels a distance ct. Here ct as the radius and the point sources are sources at a center. So this is the distance ct. Here is one point p1. This is another point p2. This is p3, p4, p5. See, all these points are at a same distance from this one, and all these points are vibrating in same phase. If you draw the locus by joining all these points, this locus is nothing but a wavefront. Now this is one wavefront. If a source is point, for this point source, the shape of the wavefront is spherical. So this is the spherical wavefront. Here is a point source. Therefore, when the source is point sized, it emits the waves. That shape of the wavefront is spherical. Next, if the source is extended or linear or narrow slit, or extended or linear source. See, in this case, this is a cylindrical wavefront. Here the rays are moving like this in all directions. Therefore, this is a cylindrical wavefront. This is cylindrical wavefront. Source is narrow slit or extended source or linear source. If the source is point, this is spherical wavefront, cylindrical wavefront. If any source is at infinite distance, either it may be point source or any source, it is at infinite distance. Here the shape of the wave is plane. This is a plane wavefront. This is a plane wavefront when the source is at infinite distance. For point source, spherical. For example, here P is a point at a distance r. The source having power also P. At this point, intensity I is equal to power of the source by 4 pi r square. Therefore, I proportional to 1 by r square. This is for point source. Here, this is the linear source or extended source. Its length is L. Here P is a point at a distance R. Then its intensity I is equal to power by 2 pi R into L. Here also intensity is inversely proportional to L. But in this case, intensity does not depends on distance. See, wavefront means the locus of all the points which are in same phase, that is nothing but locus. Using the locus we can visualize the wave, and for point source spherical wavefront. For spherical wavefront, intensity is directly proportional to 1 by r square. If the source is a narrow slit or extended source or linear source, in that case shape of the wavefront is cylindrical. For cylindrical wavefront, intensity I proportional to 1 by r. So here 1 I proportional to 1 by r, here 1 by r square. Here if the source is at infinite distance, the shape of the wavefront is plane wavefront. See, this is the spherical wavefront, this is plane wavefront, and this one is spherical wavefront convergent beam, and this is spherical wavefront divergent beam. So regarding this wavefront, another important point: the direction of the ray at any point on the wavefront is in the direction of normal to the wavefront at that point. See, this is a spherical wavefront. For this spherical wavefront, these are rays. This ray is perpendicular to this wavefront. Here also this is perpendicular. Here also perpendicular. This is plane wavefront. These are the rays. For this wavefront, see, rays are perpendicular to the wavefronts. Very, very important. This is about wavefront. Next we can move to Huygens principle of secondary wavelets. Huygens principle of secondary wavelet. So here Huygens principle is a geometrical way to describe the propagation of waves via wavefront in a medium. Given a wavefront, say at time t is equal to 0, the position and shape of the wavefront at a time t is equal to t is obtained using Huygens principle. According to this principle, there are some points are there. There are 4 points. So here the first point, every point on a given wavefront has an imaginary point source. The disturbance in a medium due to this imaginary point source is known as a secondary wavelet. See here, this is the primary wavefront, primary spherical wavefront. According to first point, every point on the primary wavefront act as a source to secondary wavelet. Act as a source to secondary wavelet. See here is one point. Like that, there are number of points on this, or every point on a primary wavefront act as a source to secondary wavelet. See, what is wavelet means? Wavelet is a wave caused by disturbance that is itself a result of another disturbance. This is a wavelet. Therefore, according to first point of Huygens theory, every point on the primary wavefront act as a source to secondary wavelet. See, this point as a center. After time, it travels a distance ct. If you draw a sphere of radius ct like this, these are the wavelets. Therefore, here these are the points. Envelope of all these points are, see, this one is a wavefront at time t is equal to 0. this is a wavefront at time t is equal to c. All these points are in same phase. If you draw the envelope, this is nothing but a secondary wavelet. This is the first point. And second point, the speed of secondary wavelets depends on the nature of the medium in which waves propagating. See, these wavelets travels with the speed of light, or it depends on the medium properties. It depends on the medium. This is second point. See, this is a forward wavefront. If you draw all the envelopes in backward direction also, this is a backward wavefront. But here we consider only forward wavefront. Why? Because according to third point, the amplitude A naught of secondary wavelets in a direction making angle theta with the direction of the motion is proportional to 1 plus cos theta. Amplitude proportional to 1 plus cos theta. See here, in backward direction, here theta is with, when you consider with forward direction, theta is 180, cos 180 minus 1, therefore A proportional to 1 minus 1, A naught is equal to 0. Therefore, amplitude of the backward wavefront is 0. Therefore, here we can neglect the backward wavefront, only we can consider the forward wavefront. This is third point. And fourth point, the new wavefront at time t is equal to is a tangential plane or envelope of all secondary wavelets. This is the secondary wavelets. All envelope or tangential plane of these envelopes are nothing but primary secondary wavefront. Now this secondary wavefront act as a source to another secondary wavelet. Like that, the wave is propagating from one place to another place according to Huygens theory. So this is a Huygens theory, and a very important regarding wavefront. So for a point source, what is the shape of the wavefront, and extended source, and also if the source is at infinity. These are the important points regarding wavelet and Huygens principle. Next, we can move to interference of waves. See here, what is interference of waves? See here, this is the source S1, source S2. Here P is a point. These are the waves coming from these sources. This is a point in the medium. Its displacement due to this wave is y1, and due to this source, this is y2. According to principle of superposition, the resultant displacement y is equal to y1 plus y2. y1 plus y2. See here, due to superposition, in the region of superposition, the redistribution of energy or intensity can take place. That modification or redistribution of intensity and energy is nothing but interference. So here is the definition. Due to modification, the result in modification or redistribution due to superposition of waves, the result in modification or redistribution of energy or intensity in the medium. This is known as interference. Therefore, when two waves are superimposed, in the region of superposition, intensity redistribution takes place. Also, energy redistribution takes place. This is nothing but interference of waves. See, interference of waves, redistribution, only redistribution energy or intensity. For example, here 6 persons are there, each person having 100 rupees. If first person gives 100 rupees to second person, and third person gives 200 rupees to fourth person, like that. Therefore, now this person having only 0 amount, this person 200, this person 0, this person 200, this person 0, this person 200. So before sharing of the money, your total amount is 600 rupees. After redistribution also amount is 600. Therefore your amount is constant. Like that, energy also constant. Therefore interference obeys law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. So very important point. The interference is the direct consequence of law of conservation of energy. Interference is nothing but when two waves are superimposed. In the region of superposition, modification or redistribution of energy or intensity can take place. This phenomena is nothing but interference. See here, interference between two sources of light. Here interference can take place only due to coherent sources. Only due to coherent sources. See, what are coherent sources? What are coherent sources? And also with this coherent source only our eye can detect any redistribution or any intensity changes or energy changes. See here, the interference effect at any point is to be observed by the eye. Due to persistence of vision, eye cannot detect rapid changes in intensity. Therefore, to observe interference, we want the effect at any point to remain same at all times. For example, if the sources are not coherent sources means the two sources emits waves of same frequency and constant phase difference. Then only that sources are called coherent sources. If the sources are not coherent, if you consider one place, due to superposition, the intensity if continuously changes. Why? Because phase difference is not constant. That continuous changes up to certain limit only. Due to the persistence of hearing, our eye can be recognized. Otherwise, if the intensity or energy continuously changes or rapidly changes, that changes we cannot recognize. Therefore, for coherent sources, the waves are same frequency and constant phase difference, or phase difference is 0. That type of sources are known as coherent sources. See here, any two sources of light having same phase difference at all times are known as coherent sources. Therefore interference effect can be observed only due to the coherent sources. Therefore here, ordinary light, this is one light source, this is another light source. These ordinary light sources are not coherent sources. These are incoherent sources. Only laser light only the coherent sources. But here we can convert one incoherent source into coherent sources by the method of reflection, refraction, or multiple refractions or multiple refractions. This is about interference. Interference effect we can observe or can takes place only due to coherent sources, not incoherent sources. Coherent sources means if the sources emits waves of same frequency and constant phase difference, that types of waves are nothing but coherent sources. Incoherent sources means if the sources emits the waves, the phase difference between that waves continuously changes with respect to time, that sources are incoherent sources. This is about interference. Then we can study about mathematical expression of interference of light. See here, this is the source S1, this is the source S2, this is the wave coming from the source S1, here P is a point. At that point, these two waves are superimposed. From S1 to P, this is a path distance x. This becomes x plus delta x. Therefore, between these two waves, delta x is nothing but path difference. This is a point in the medium. Its displacement due to first wave is y1 and this is y2. Therefore, y1 is equal to a1 sine omega t minus kx. This is equation number 1. y2 is equal to a2 sine omega t minus k. X means here x plus delta x. Therefore, y2 is equal to a2 sine omega t minus kx minus k delta x. This k delta x is nothing but phase difference. Therefore, pi is equal to k into delta x. Pi is equal to k is a wave number, that is 2 pi by lambda into delta x. It's a very important relation. Say, while solving the problems, this formula we can use frequently. So very important. This is nothing but phase difference and this is nothing but path difference. Therefore, phase difference and path difference, then y2 is equal to a2 sine omega t minus kx. This kx means minus pi. It is equation number 2. According to principle of superposition, y is equal to y1 plus y2. See, y is equal to a1 sine omega t minus kx plus a2 sine omega t minus kx minus pi. Therefore, y is equal to a1 sine omega t minus kx plus this is sine a minus b. Therefore, this becomes a2 sine omega t minus kx into cos pi plus a2 cos omega t minus kx into sin pi. So here is sin omega t minus kx, here also sin omega t minus kx common. This becomes a1 plus a2 cos pi into sin omega t minus kx plus a2 sin pi cos omega t minus kx. See, from this equation, this term, let a1 plus a2 cos pi is equal to a cos theta, equation number 3. And this one, a2 sin pi is equal to a sin theta, it is equation number 4. Now squaring and adding of equation 3 and 4, this becomes a square cos square theta plus a square sin square theta, that is equal to a1 plus a2 cos pi whole square and a square sin square pi. So here a square common, cos square theta plus sin square theta 1, this becomes a square is equal to, here a plus b whole square, a1 square plus a2 square cos square pi plus 2a1 a2 cos pi plus a square sin square pi. So here a square sin square pi, a square cos square pi, a2, sorry, this one is a square, this one also a square. Therefore a square is equal to, so this is a2 square sin square pi, a1 a2 cos pi, a1 square plus a2 square cos square pi, sorry, here also a2 square, this is a1 square plus, here a2 square common, cos square pi plus sin square pi 1, this is a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos pi. Therefore a is equal to square root of a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos pi. See, this is the resultant amplitude. See here, if you substitute equation 3 and equation 4 in this equation, that becomes y is equal to a sine omega t minus kx minus theta. This is the resultant equation. Here y1 and y2 are two harmonic waves. When two harmonic waves are superimposed, this is the resultant equation. Resultant equation having amplitude A, same frequency, and here is the phase difference theta. Here A is nothing but resultant amplitude. Therefore, formula for resultant amplitude, square root of a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos pi. Here pi is the phase difference between two waves, that is y1 and y2. See, if you divide 4 by 3, here 4 is a sin theta, a cos theta, a cancel, sin theta by cos theta, tan theta. Tan theta is equal to a2 sin pi, a2 sin pi by a1 plus a2 cos pi. This is tan theta. See, this type of formulas we have already observed in vectors. For example, this is one vector, but actually your amplitudes are not vectors. If you consider vector, this is a1, this is a2, and the angle between them is pi. The resultant of this one, this is a, here this is theta. Therefore the resultant makes an angle with the first vector, that is theta. A is the resultant vector, and between a1 and a2 the phase difference is pi. Therefore this resultant wave amplitudes very important. A is equal to square root of a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos pi. This is the formula for resultant amplitude. Resultant amplitude. See here, resultant amplitude also you can write down a square is equal to a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos pi. Here intensity is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. Square of the amplitude. See here, basing on this one, this is the resultant amplitude. Therefore resultant intensity IR is nothing but a1 square means I1 plus I2. This is a1 means 2 into root I1 I2 cos pi. So very important. This is for resultant amplitude and this is for resultant intensity. Resultant intensity. This is resultant amplitude, resultant intensity. See, next Young's double slit experiment is there. Okay, that also we can discuss. Before going to that one, in the Young's double slit experiment, both the waves are having same intensity. Therefore, I1 and I2 is equal to, I am taking I0. If the intensity is same, what is the formula for resultant intensity? That is IR is equal to I1 is I0, I2 also I0 plus 2 into I0 into I0 into cos pi. IR is equal to I0 plus I0 to I0 plus 2 into I0 into I0, I0 square root I0 cos pi. This becomes 2 I0 is common. Therefore, this becomes 1 plus cos pi. Therefore, I resultant is equal to 2 I0 into 1 plus cos pi, 2 cos square pi by 2. Therefore, I resultant is equal to 4 I0 cos square pi by 2. So, this is the formula you have to use when intensities are equal. If the intensities are different, IR is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 into square root of I1 I2 cos pi. If intensities are same and resultant intensity IR is equal to 4 I1 I2 4 I0 cos square pi by 2. This is about resultant intensity. Next here, interferences are two types. One is constructive interference, another one is destructive interference. First, constructive interference. So here resultant intensity IR is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 into root I1 I2 cos pi. This resultant intensity depends on cos pi. If cos pi is maximum, intensity is maximum. When intensity is maximum, that is nothing but constructive interference. If this interference pattern is observed on any screen, the places on that screen where the intensity is maximum, that places are called bright bands. Therefore, here cos pi tends to maximum. When cos pi tends to maximum means cos pi is equal to 1. If you substitute cos pi is equal to 1 here, cos pi 1 means pi is equal to 2n into pi, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. This means pi is equal to, if you substitute 0 here, this is 0, 1, 2 pi, 2, 4 pi, 6 pi and so on. Therefore, this is nothing but even multiple of pi. When phase difference is even multiple of pi, intensity is maximum. What about path difference? Pi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta x. Delta x is path difference. Phase difference is 2n pi, that is equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta x. 2 pi cancel. Therefore, delta x is equal to n lambda. Here also n is equal to 0, 1, 2 and so on. See, for simplicity, this I am writing delta x is equal to 2 into 2n into lambda by 2. Same 2 cancel. So here delta x is equal to n is equal to 0, delta x 0. N is equal to 1, 2 lambda by 2. N is equal to 2, 4 lambda by 2. N is equal to 3, 6 lambda by 2. This is nothing but even multiple of lambda by 2. See here, when phase difference is even multiple of pi and path difference is even multiple of lambda by 2, intensity is maximum. When intensity is maximum, that interference is nothing but constructive interference. So here, what is the maximum intensity for constructive interference? In this formula, if you put cos pi is equal to 1, this becomes intensity maximum. Therefore, maximum intensity is equal to root I1 plus root I2 whole square. root I1 plus root I2 whole square. And also we can write down maximum intensity in terms of amplitude. This becomes A1 plus A2 whole square. Intensity maximum means amplitude also maximum. Therefore here maximum amplitude A max is equal to A1 plus A2. See, this is maximum amplitude, this is maximum intensity. Maximum intensity root I1 plus root I2 whole square, or maximum intensity A1 plus A2 whole square, and maximum amplitude A1 plus A2. This is about constructive interference. See, what about destructive interference? See, destructive interference, same. Here also resultant intensity I1 plus I2 plus 2 into root I1 I2 cos pi. Here also intensity depends on phase difference. If cos pi tends to minimum, therefore cos pi minimum value minus 1. When cos pi is equal to minus 1, pi is equal to 2n minus 1 into pi, where n is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. Pi is equal to, n is equal to 1, this is pi. N is equal to 2, 3 pi, 5 pi, 7 pi and so on. This is nothing but odd multiple of pi. See, when phase difference is odd multiple of pi, intensity is minimum. When intensity is minimum, that interference is nothing but destructive interference. See, what about path difference? Pi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta x. Pi is 2n minus 1 into pi. This becomes 2 pi by lambda into delta x. Here delta x, pi cancel, delta x is equal to 2n minus 1 into lambda by 2. Here also n is equal to 1, 2, 3 so on. Therefore delta x is equal to n is equal to 1 lambda by 2, n is equal to 2, 3 lambda by 2, 5 lambda by 2, 7 lambda by 2 and so on. This is odd multiple of lambda by 2. See here, for constructive interference, phase difference is even multiple of pi. Path difference, odd multiple of lambda by 2. But destructive interference, phase difference is odd multiple of 5 and path difference is odd multiple of lambda by 2. In this case, intensity is minimum, that is nothing but destructive interference. Intensity minimum, that I minimum is equal to root I1 plus root I2 whole square, or in terms of amplitude, I minimum is equal to A1 minus A2 whole square. Here intensity minimum, amplitude also minimum, therefore A minimum is equal to A1 minus A2. A minimum is equal to A1 minus A2. This is minimum amplitude, maximum intensity, minimum intensity in case of destructive interference. Therefore, this is a formula: I max by I minimum is equal to root I1 plus root I2 whole square by root I1 minus root I2 this is root I1 minus root I2 whole square. This is equal to A1 plus A2 whole square by A1 minus A2 whole square. Very, very important formula. This you have to remember. This is about constructive interference and destructive interference. In constructive interference, intensity is maximum. Destructive interference, intensity is minimum. See, for example, if I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I naught, what is I maximum? I maximum is equal to root I1 plus root I2 whole square. What is root I1? Root I naught plus root I naught whole square. Therefore, I maximum is equal to 2 into root I naught whole square. This is 4 I naught. Therefore, I maximum is equal to 4 I naught. And also I minimum. I minimum is equal to root I1 minus root I2 whole square. Here root I1 both are same, therefore this becomes 0. Therefore I minimum is equal to 0. Therefore I maximum 4 I naught. I minimum 0. So here when an interference pattern is observed on the screen there is a modification of intensity takes place. The places where intensity is maximum, that is nothing but bright band, and where the intensity is minimum, that is dark band. If the waves having same intensity, bright band intensity is 4 I naught and dark band intensity is I naught. This is about constructive and destructive interference. Another important thing, that is nothing but fringe visibility. Fringe visibility is equal to I maximum minus I minimum by I maximum plus I minimum into 100. This is nothing but fringe visibility. For example, I minimum is equal to 0. I minimum 0 means this is 0, this is 0. I maximum by I maximum 1, this is 100%. Therefore, when minimum intensity is 0, fringe visibility is 100%. Means if the interference pattern is observed on the screen, we can easily distinguish which one is bright band and which one is dark band. That defines the fringe visibility. See, this is about interference, constructive interference, destructive interference. For constructive interference, phase difference and path difference, maximum intensity, maximum amplitude, and destructive interference, phase difference and path difference, maximum intensity and minimum intensity and minimum amplitude. This is about interference. And before this one we completed Huygens theory and also wavefront. Wavefront for different sources, point source, extended source, if the object is at infinity. So it's a very important topic. Okay, thank you.